You wait, will you?
I'll introduce.
All right, well, Rick. I'd like to introduce Rick Macci hosting us. Give him a big round of applause, the legend.
First off, I'd like to thank everybody for coming. Some of the kids here at the Academy, a lot of kids are going to be coming after school. This is such a treat, okay, to have someone like David Meltzer here, my partner in the podcast, okay. The guy's one of the best human beings I ever met. So I need a round of applause for this guy, okay?
Sorry about that.
Then, who did the book with me, Dr. Niva. Got the right grip. He had the right grip. He has potential, okay? He has the right grip.
Continue.
You ready for this? We did the book together, but I taught her and her sister, okay? Back in the day, they both went to Harvard. She's a genius, did the book with me, okay? So I taught her back in the day. I guess she's getting older, I don't know, but at the end of the day, this is a treat for everybody. There's gonna be so many gold nuggets, so many unbelievable gems that everybody can get from this. And we all have to understand, especially a lot of youngsters. I told you guys to bring your journal. Hopefully you're gonna put this on your phone. You gotta write it down, you gotta remember it. One word, one sentence can change someone's life, okay? And I tell you guys this all the time. I cannot stress it enough. So that being said, I'm gonna turn over to David. We're gonna have a lot of Q&A. This is gonna be great. Anything you wanna talk about, other than maybe your forehand or backhand, we can do that later. Okay, this is gonna be something that will improve your forehand and backhand. And it's like the game of life and tennis. It's a game of inches from one ear to another. So I'm gonna turn this over to David.
Thank you, Rick. You know, there's so much wisdom that is here today between all of us, and what really excited me about hanging out with Rick was his wisdom in life. And I'm not a huge tennis player, but the lessons that he taught really changed my life even before I met him. And he succinctly says them sometimes in rhyme, rap, or just in a succinct small statement. But one of the things that I realized when you're around people that are just dropping bombs, especially young people, just dropping nuggets one after another, maybe they speak as quickly as Rick and I do, is a lesson that I learned from going to so much school. And I didn't go to Harvard, although all my siblings went to those type of schools.
But wait a minute. David and I both went to Harvard, but we went to visit someone. She actually went to Harvard, okay? So we got some in common here, but go ahead.
People get into Harvard, both of us. That's helpful. But, you know, as I got older, I have this bill every month that reminds me about lessons. And it's a storage bill. Because in California, I pay $1,200 a month to store bankers' boxes of notes from college, law school, business school, about $1 million worth of personal development from Tony Robbins and Dr. Wayne Dyer, and the list goes on. And every month I pay that bill to remind myself about lessons, because life is about lessons, and they keep on coming until we learn them. Pain is the indicator that you have a lesson to learn. It's an indicator you're being promoted, protected, and loved. And through sports, we see it better than anywhere in life. And I write that check, my wife's like, just throw those notes away. Not because I ever am gonna go through or am capable of learning anything from the boxes of nuggets that are in there, and they're well worth it, but because it's a reminder only to write down, especially today, the things that resonate with you. If you create a system today with technology, one nugget from each of us or something that resonates with you, nobody else may care about it. You may be 7, 8, 10 years old, but there's some one-liner that Rick gives you. Capture that on your iPad, on your phone, write it down in a notebook if you're as old as me. But I promise you, if you write down what resonates with you in life, not only are you utilizing your intellect, not only are you utilizing intuition, but you're utilizing inspiration, and it's gonna have the most impact in your life. And today, because of technology, I usually text myself when someone says something and it resonates with me. Then I move it to a folder, and on Sundays, I review what resonates with me, and I attach stories so that I can teach the lessons that resonate with me, which then attracts people that resonate with me, which gives me a statistical advantage. So there's gonna be a lot of great nuggets today, and you guys are gonna participate because I speak to people way too many times. I love listening for what you want to learn and we have two amazing experts. If you haven't picked this up, nothing I can think is more powerful than $1 billion mind, which leads to $1 billion heart and $1 billion handset. So I'm going to start off. I'll ask each of these geniuses questions to start. So prepare one as well for all three of us. I'm going to start with Dr. Neva here. It's rare for a doctor to have the idea beyond science. And right here is a lot of what I call applied science or theoretical physics that are involved. How important is it to have the medical background that you have to understand the mindset that it takes to have $1 billion mind?
That is an amazing question. I absolutely...
They pay me to do this. It's like Serena in tennis. They pay her because she's amazing. No,
I think, David, the medical background is absolutely essential in order to make these concepts more easy to understand. Our mind, how many of you have had a garden? You guys, who has a garden here? Oh yeah. And our mind is like a garden because we have to weed out those negative thoughts. But in order to do that, the negative thoughts, the useless thoughts, the thoughts that don't really serve us anything, but in order to do that, we have to understand how our brain works. And using neuroscience, and that's what I do in the intro to this book, helps us organize how our brain works. And just to be very, very simple about it, David, is that it's very simple. We have things that come into our brain and things that come out. So sensory, that's what comes into our brain, and motor is what we do. So if we optimize both those things, we can actually make our brain and our mind very strong. And then we can or understand all of Rick's principles, all of them fall into that pattern. So I think neuroscience really forms the foundation.
And so do I, and it does lead to the heart set and the hand set.
Absolutely.
Which all three, Rick develops champions, not just the greatest tennis player of all time, which he has developed, but one of the things that I align with you, Rick, is that everyone has their own potential. And we were in an interview right at the beginning, and he started by saying, I said, what does it take to be the world's best? And he said, first, genetics. There's some people like me that will never be the world's best at football because of genetics, and yet it is the energetics combined with my genetics that allows me to reach my potential. And some people potential in athletics like mine, I am not joking, when I played college football, it was the closest still today I've ever come to living to my potential. I enjoyed every day working towards being my best at football, never quitting, always pursuing my best at it. And I was the end result was an under average Division III football player. But what I learned about that is what, Rick, you teach all the different levels of people to live to their potential. There's no one better here to teach us how we can live to our own potential, especially for young kids. It's not what other people think or say or do about you or what you want them to think. What are some of the key lessons that you teach about people just living to their potential?
First off, great question, but everybody should kind of understand, I don't just change like strokes. Basically what I do is I change lives. I've kind of been a life coach on a tennis coach with a heavy background in biomechanics, motivation, strategic, all that stuff is a little of the easier stuff. And what I try to do is get them to look at the world through a different lens, not only as a competitor, but what's going to help them in school, what's going to help them after school, clean their room better, treat people better. And these are all these lessons involved in the teaching. And it's all centered around the positivity that I try to get across. And if any of you saw the movie, which I'm sure they did, I get it across a little different than say a Bobby Knight or someone like that. But I get a better result because I'm dealing a lot of times with youth. And one word can change a child's life. And that's what people don't understand. There's not a wrong way or a right way, there's a better way. And I just keep going until I try to extract greatness. And then it comes down to discipline, what I expect of myself to provide that service to the person. So the number one thing, I get them to look at things differently. Because in the game of tennis, you got like 20 seconds to make it happen 20 years ago. And if you see Nadal and Serena and Djokovic, bang, they come back, it's like mind control. It never happened. instead of all these things that can go there. So I try to work with the mental part. And, you know, probably the best compliment I ever got from anybody was when I was at the red carpet, the after party, and both VW and Serena go, Rick, it's like, we were just brainwashed to be number one. I went, whoa, you know, I mean, maybe Richard scared them to be number one, but you had to have the genetics, okay, but you can still mess it up. And that environment to think big, you know, keep going, never make excuses. I expect it, I don't hope it, and that's what I try to instill in young players, whether they're going to play high school tennis, college, or professional. And I think as a parent, okay, the number one thing you should always remember is to instill confidence in your kids. You can do it. You know, you can do it. Okay, you just can't look at it like, well, that one's there and that's there. I've seen that movie many times. It's not where you start, it's where you finish. So that's something I'd like to share with everybody.
That's great. And I'm going to ask one more question, so get ready because you're next. And I see a sign over here that resonates with me. It says, bad attitude equals bad results. And what I think about when I see that is that a bad attitude creates bad behavior. Bad behavior has an instant result that we don't know or understand. It's called bad progress. And it's just a matter of time until, regardless of the results of today, the attitude of today and the behavior of today will give you the results of tomorrow, good or bad. And so although things may be tough today and the results that you're seeing you don't know or understand, for example, in my circumstance, lost over $100 million in 2008 while I was running the most notable sports agency in the world, had to go tell my mom that I lost everything, including her house. That result of that day was not indicative of the behavior that got me to where I was. If I would have thought I was being punished by that, instead of saying, what am I supposed to learn? How is this going to protect me, promote me, and love me for my future? I wouldn't be here today, but for that result that I didn't want. And so that bad result to me, I look for a great attitude, for great behavior, great progress, and I let the results show themselves when they best allow me to be my best and learn from them. I'm going to start back over with you, Nina.
Yeah.
There's a lot in the mind
Absolutely.
about attitude.
There is.
And some people may think, you know, that you're born with a happy gene or a sad gene, you're born with optimism or pessimism. You know, can anyone have a good attitude to create good behavior and good results?
Absolutely. Anybody, everybody here has the potential to have the best attitude. And that's what I love about being here, is like being with Rick and being his student. When I was 16, 17, 18, I always loved his positivity, his attitude. And I think that and I believe it, everybody has the potential. But the most important thing, and this is why this book is important, is that when there is a problem, right? We all can have a great attitude and everything's going well. When our strokes are great, our serve is perfect, we're hitting aces, we're winning the match, our attitude is perfect. You know, but then when there's a problem, there's the wind, you know, or we're losing. That's when we have to use the tools, and this book really helps us with having to look at ourselves and understand our thoughts to keep and maintain that attitude. So that's the problem. When there's pressure, there's a problem, there's an obstacle, that's when our thoughts go wrong, we start getting negative. That's when we start getting negative results. So the key to this book and the key to our mind is being able to withstand all the negativity around us and still being strong and positive despite that. Now, how many of you guys have ever been down in the third set? And oh my gosh, who was, wow. Oh, you guys are on it. Who was won from that? Has anybody come back? Wow. Can you tell me, you guys, if you're okay with talking about it, do you remember what you guys thought about to get, yeah, tell me.
So I was down 0-3.
Wow.
And then I found the motivation in me to like push through and like get back to the top.
That's beautiful. How did you find the motivation? Did you say anything to yourself?
Yeah.
What did you say?
Like, you can do it.
I love that. And so that's part of our book. So you say you can do it, and you can get a positive affirmation, and you can come out of those things. It's easy to say you can't do it or time to go home, but it's good to be positive. So like you said, Dave, if you reach in and you have a technique to battle a negative time, you know, all of us face difficult challenges. And so if we can come out of it, you can be a winner. So great job.
Let me chime in.
So, yes.
So let me chime in here. So you have to change, number one, your perspective, because we all see the same thing, but we all look at it very differently. And you got to train your mind almost the exact opposite. Because if you hit the ball into the net, okay, you might not be feeling good, but greatness doesn't even think it happened. And that is a consistent pattern that you got to train yourself every single day, a little bit. And before you know it, you got a lot of it, okay? And this is what has to happen. You can't just do it a couple times a week, because listen, there's a lot better athletes out there that never won Grand Slams. And it's because of this, how they handle the moments. And you got to be consistent. I can't stress enough, Dave, that's the key. You got to be consistent, and you got to stay with it, of how you're going to try to flip it in your mind, take a negative, turn it into a positive. And I've been fortunate not only to build it, to mold it. I've seen it go this way, and unfortunately that way, okay? And the best of all the rest, every creature on the face of earth, they're the most positive people ever. They look at it differently. It's an opportunity to get better. They understand failure, they understand problems, and they look at it differently, okay, instead of black and white, okay? Like someone said to me today, they said, I don't like it because it's windy. I'm not going to mention Luke's name over there. Oh, wait. So anyway, no, I couldn't even respond to that, because it was windy on the other side. You know, the wind has to be your best friend. All this thing, and I got to tell this story real quick about Federer. This was a long time ago, US Open, hurricane in New York. He played some guy 19 in the world. He beat the guy 0-1-0. Bill and you guys will remember this. And the guy was 19 in the world. He's not a hamburger with extra cheese. The guy can play. And they went 3 sets the last time. They come off the court. The guy said, listen, there's a hurricane in New York, winds 50 miles an hour, hats blowing off people. They should have canceled the match. Federer comes off the court. They go, what do you think of the match? He goes, I had a blast. This was so much fun. I got to play with the ball. I got to do a bunch of different spins. One of them made the elements his best friend ever, even better than his dog. And the other guy didn't want anything to do with it, and he got just tortured. So, but that didn't happen overnight, and that's why you have people like Federer, Nadal, Djokovic, Serena, then you have the next and the next. It's so much this, because the talent is all kind of equal, the technique's in the neighborhood, but it's this, and it's a consistent behavior of how you look at things.
Yeah, it's whether it's in business, sports, or in life, I always say there's kind of a minutes and moments strategy, especially for you younger people. I use time. I always say I'm going to get kicked in the face 8 times a day on average. 8 times a day, someone's going to cut me off. Someone's going to have a need to be offended. I lose a deal. Something is going to happen to me. I have 3 teenage daughters. Something's going to happen to me to kick me in the face.
But you're prepared for that.
Exactly.
See, he's trained himself because he knows crap's going to happen. This is huge. So understand it's not like that.
Yeah.
If anybody tells you it's like that, they're lying. They're lying.
Anybody have anything bad happen to them today? Nobody. Of course
Oh,
we do. Every day.
wow, no.
And so I say to myself, you know what? I have a choice. How long am I going to spend in the reaction to this struggle, void, shortage, obstacle? How long am I going to spend in the wrong trajectory, creating resistance? Remember, the distance between your behavior and what you want or better in life is 2 things will shorten that distance of resistance. Wisdom and faith. And faith is based off of optimism. I have faith that this occurred to make me better, not to make me worse, not to punish me. It's promoting me. And this is a huge mindset shift for the people that I see, billionaires, millionaires, entrepreneurs, celebrities, athletes, entertainers have been around the best in the world. They all spend minutes and moments reacting to getting hit in the face. And then they go ahead and roll in the right direction where they want to be. They say, oh, the wind's here, I'm going to use that to win. Not that's going to stop me from winning. So spend minutes and moments in that fear, learn how to identify how you're reacting to it, change that reaction, and you'll change the direction, the divine direction of where you want to be or better. All right, somebody by now must have a question. Who is it?
Yeah, I got one. So my name's David Williams, and we got a mastermind program that empowers kids to break through their labels through the power of education, the right things they don't teach enough in school. And my question for the panel is, what's maybe the one or two things that you had to learn through the school of the hard knocks, outside of the education system, that led to your success today you wish they were teaching in our school system to our kids?
Oh, I love that question.
Take it to Harvard person.
Oh, wow. I think there are two things that I wish I could go back in my life and relive my life that way. One is that I want everyone here to recognize how powerful our minds are. Just think about it, how many billions of neurons we have and how many thoughts we have. So who here, if I had like a monkey jumping behind me, you'd all be laughing. And all of a sudden, if we hear thunderclouds, we'd all be crying. And our minds are so powerful, yet there are too many thoughts, right? And so if we knew how to make our minds work for us and be our best friend, and we recognize that thought that someone didn't respond to my text message and all the negative thoughts. How many of you guys have had a negative thought after a text message? It's, oh, well, like what happened, you know? And then you realize the person was in a car accident or had like a, major surgery, and you didn't realize that it was not personal. If I go back to my life and made all those things, like recognize that my thoughts were wrong, then I would have had a better education, I'd have had better relationships, and I think those things are really crucial to success, and our own success. So recognizing our thoughts are so fickle, are so up and down. We can be losing a third set, and then all of a sudden we see the girl limping and she's got an ankle injury, and now we're playing better. Our thoughts are so many and very easy to manipulate. But the key is, like a garden, is to weed out the bad thoughts and make that a beautiful garden so we can do what we want. And I think the second thing I would go back, if I had to do this again, is perspective. Everything is about perspective. And because David's here, I'm gonna really honor the story he talks about his dad and that jacket. He got a jacket from his dad.
Famous
and
jacket.
the famous story. And the thing about it that changed for you is that perspective. And I do that every day with my patients. They come in, they have a diagnosis, they have pain in their feet. I'm like, okay, but you can still walk. You're not gonna be dying in 3 months. Changing that perspective changes their entire world. All of a sudden, they're appreciative of everything. So those are my things. I think thoughts are really powerful. We have so many, and they flip-flop. So we have to learn how to control them. So everybody here today is gonna, at least if you go home, you can start recognizing those thoughts and saying, well, if someone didn't get back to me, I'm not gonna be upset about it. If it's raining, I'm not gonna be devastated today. I'm gonna try to make my thoughts positive and read that book. So that's what I would say. Yeah.
Yeah, let me chime in on this. First off, I think in the school system, the teachers teach what they got to teach. I get the pay structure and all that, but I think motivation should be a part of their curriculum, that they should try to take so much time every day to empower and inspire children, because you don't know what's going on outside of the classroom. And I just think that's one of the failures in our school system, because they are not only a teacher, they're a role model, or maybe a father figure or a mother figure, and they have such influence over kids when you send them to school. So I think the motivation should be a part of that, the education. Instead of just reading and this and that, there should be time spent on that to influence these kids. That's number one. Number two, all of them understand kind of what they eat and what they put into their mouth, but they're not aware of what goes into their brain and what they listen to, especially with social media and all the insanity around them, okay? And being around people like the Wizard of Words here, and it's like every day on YouTube, being motivated and getting into a routine and structure to empower yourself is huge. And I think that should be another thing that should be stressed in the school system, because they're seeing the kids 6-7 hours a day. So those would be two things, if they're more aware of what they're hearing. Because you can get on that merry-go-round of negativity and go down the wrong path, and then you're kind of going back and forth. And so, but the teachers could play a major role in a kid's life. It's like no other.
I love that. Thank you so much.
And I have two as well. The first one's obvious. It's just financial literacy.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
obvious, it's overdone, and I wish they would teach it. I'm a victim of not being I have a law degree, business degree, some of the finest schools, not Harvard, but I lost my money because I wasn't financially literate. I was good at making money, but I wasn't financially literate.
But he has potential. I'm telling you, this guy has potential. He's
But I think the thing that I would do, there's a guy named Bob Parsons. He founded GoDaddy, exited in his 70s for $4 billion or more. And I was interviewing him at the Super Bowl, and he said to me, and he's in his 70s, you know, Dave, if you learn to love what you do, and you can see me on camera, I roll my eyes because everyone but the young people know what's coming next. But he surprised me, and the surprise that he gave me was what I wish they would teach everyone in school. He said, if you learn to love what you do, and you learn to love what you don't like to do, and you learn to love what you don't love to do, and you learn to love what other people don't like to do, and you learn to love what other people don't love to do, and you do it every day, consistently, and you don't quit, you do it persistently, it will tell you all its secrets. Son, I will give you the cheat code to life. If you want to level up in your life, then learn to love what you don't like. Learn to love what you don't love. Learn to love what other people don't like and love it. I promise you, life will tell you all its secrets. And if you know all the secrets, we know from the video games today, don't we? Those games that seem impossible to me, if I have the cheat codes, I can win them all. And that's been the secret sauce in my life, is learning to love what other people don't and I don't, and having that mindset, heart set, and hand set to look for the light, the love, and the lessons and stuff that you couldn't even imagine is promoting you to a better place and a better position. And those are the two things that I think we should teach in school.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
That's awesome.
Great question.
Yeah,
All right,
that's
who's
great.
next? Who's not? All right.
Yeah, my name's Farley Weiss. I was a top 100 junior tennis player in 12s, 14s, 16s, and 18s in the 70s and 80s, early 80s, and I had a coach.
Well, wait, if you'd have came to me, I could have got you 10 notches high. But we'll talk later. Maybe there could be a comeback, all right?
We got
We'll
the
come back.
senior tour. You're
We'll come.
fine.
Yeah, listen.
My coach had a philosophy which he unfortunately didn't apply, which he said, if someone's doing well, I'm tough on them to get them to stay level-headed. If they're doing poorly, I'm trying to be good to them, trying to get their confidence up. The only problem was he did the opposite. If I wasn't doing well, you're terrible. If you're doing well, you're great. And but what was your philosophy dealing with people? If they're going well, how do you keep them going well? And if they're doing poorly, how do you get them to turn around?
It's all individualized. There's not a playbook. There's not a blueprint. Everybody's different. Genetics are different. Age is different. Background's different. I take the temperature. I feel what I need to do. If I got to go through the front door, the side window, the chimney, the basement, I just figure it out. And that's the art of coaching. You know, when to say it, how to say it, why to say it, who to say it to. So I couldn't really answer your question because the way I treated, say, Venus was very different than Serena, okay? And the way I taught Capriati was different than Roddick or Moschino or Pierce or Dr. It's a different, you know, it's a very different. And it could be fluid. It could change minute to minute. It could change day to day. So if anybody says, bang, this is the way they do it, they're going to get passed because they're living in the past. So that'd be the way I'd answer that.
And I just to add, you know, because in business or in sales, it's the same exact things. You have to meet somebody where they're at.
Yeah.
And we don't meet people where they're at by talking to them or yelling at them. Right? We ask open-ended questions. And we also try to determine an open mind.
Yeah.
Because a lot of things in coaching, mentoring, and teaching is that we think that we're talking to a receiving party. And so the first qualification is I always test for an open mind because it will only accelerate the resistance. If you're trying to tell a closed mind, you can do it or you suck, either way, you're just going to accelerate them in the wrong direction. So find an open mind, ask open-ended questions to find out where they're at, what they're liking, what they're not liking. Because here's a piece of business advice, simplified in my life. There's only 2 ways in life to provide value to somebody is based off of perception.
Absolutely.
Only two ways to provide value. You either give someone more of what they like or take away some, if not all, of what they don't like. And if you're able to do that as a coach, a mentor, a teacher, a dad, a mom, whatever it is, if you can identify what someone likes and what they don't like and where they're at, all day long, all you'll do is keep on providing value to that person by giving them more of what they like or taking away what they don't like.
I love it. Yeah.
No, just one more thing. And David said it great, and all the kids know that. When I teach someone, okay, I'm learning more from them than I'm giving to them. Okay, it's the exact opposite. You know, that's why you can't read a book and become like a great coach or a mentor. I'm always learning. I got better this morning. I'm always talking to the kids. What do you think? What do you feel? You know, and it could change all the time. And that's how you extract greatness instead of this is my way or the highway. It's never worked. You know, I never had a lesson in my life. I picked up a racket at age 12, 18 years old. I was the #1 junior in Ohio Valley. Whatever that means, okay, it means something. And, you know, I teach 50 hours a week, still to this day, more than anybody in the country. And it's because I can connect with kids, but I inspire them because I work with them. I'm coaching them, but they're coaching me. And together, when you got people pulling in the same direction, great things are in the oven cooking.
Yeah, no, I think it's covered, yeah.
Ben?
So I have the great privilege of working with David, so I get a lot of his nuggets quite often. But you know, one that I think is really important, and that I would love to hear your guys' opinion on is how do you balance with somebody who you see they have a lot of talent and potential in a sport or in an area of business, but maybe their personal life isn't there. Like, how do you balance that relationship of ensuring that their personal life is kind of in line and not, you know, haphazard, that they can have that success in their professional life?
Go for it. Whatever
you can start.
Okay, I'll start.
Piggyback that.
Sometimes I get really pragmatic and formulatic about what I believe in all of my relationships, business and personal, because I got myself in trouble letting people bleed me. Right? Like, people ask you, how do you lose over $100 million? Surround yourself with the wrong people and the wrong ideas. Don't ask for help. That's how you do it. It's a real simple formula. But I start evaluating talent by the feeding and bleeding spectrum first. So I look to see in a relationship, how much is this person feeding me? How much are they bleeding me? And then I put it into context, which is one, relativity. How relative is this person? Because I will afford them more bleeding at this time in my life if they're very relative, and if there's some friend I had in high school that keeps on borrowing money and not paying me back, or making me feel bad about myself because I didn't make the homecoming court and they did, and I'm 56 years old and it's irrelevant, then I go ahead and let them fall away or fire them, because all they are is bleeding and not relevant to me. Whereas some of you may be like me, mama boys, you know, my mom's 80 years old. She bleeds me much more than she feeds me today, but she's the most relative person, so she can bleed everything from me the way that I bled everything from her. But the point that really determines in business is association. And so this idea of association helps determine not only bleeding and feeding and relativity, but how is this person associating into my perception? And so how can I help them if the association with their family is causing interference between me and our objectives as a business person, whatever it would be. So I do a quick evaluation on bleeding, feeding, relativity, and association, and then determine. My favorite dependent variable in life is always time. It's the only, we can quantify things by two things, space and time. I'm not Einstein, I can't figure out how to quantify things by space, but time's easy. It's the time a particle of light leaves the sun, hits the earth, it's 24 hours a day. So I put time to it and say, how much time of my 24 hours am I gonna give this if it's bleeding me or feeding me? And those things that are most important to me, I give it a minimum amount of time every day. My faith, my health, my family, my finance, my fitness, all of those things get an amount of time, and I increase and decrease the amount of time determined upon the values, the balance of those values each day.
Well said.
I have something to say, because I come from a different perspective in the medical world. And when I take care of patients, it's not that we're just taking care of their condition. You have to take care of their personal life. And many times, if you look at it, I always do this one practice for almost all my patients. I say, what's important to you. And it's really exactly almost what you say. What David was saying is that if you have 3 months left to live, what are you going to do with those 3 months? And that just changes everything. And that changes that, then everyone starts calculating what's important to them. They have to do that exercise until they see me again. And everything, so now the relationships that were toxic are now not important. Now the relationship with their mom is important. The relationship with their kids, now they have to go, many of them will go and travel and then start finding things that are important in those last few months. And some of them really do have 3 months to live, some don't, but it's really important to restructure how we think so that personal life gets balanced, especially in my world. So if you think about that in reality, and that's really how some of the changes in my life were done, because I would tell people, I said, find joy, and then I had to find it myself. And so part of it was coming back and meeting Rick and writing this book, and all this stuff is part of that. So very important. Yeah.
Oh, well said. I think you covered it.
Okay.
Back here and then.
Deanna Carvajal. Speaking about finding joy, it's going to resonate at a certain frequency, open the mind more. It's going to allow, let's say, lack of resistance, joy. What did you find in writing this book or any book that you would have written in terms of the data with joy and what's happening in the brain?
Oh, absolutely. Joy is almost like you don't need a medicine if you have joy. Because joy increases the levels of dopamine, which is our pleasure hormone. And so joy in of itself creates happiness. The things that, the same neurotransmitter that cocaine, works on. So we don't need those drugs. If you can find joy within yourself, recognize the things that create joy. It's so fascinating. And I think whether you're a parent or a student, it's really important to know what creates joy for you. For some people, that joy may just come in the simple form of food, or it may come in the form of exercise, or relationships, or love. Everybody has to know what gives them that joy, and that's really important to spend time with yourself. And then once you do that, the dopamine goes up, and you start enjoying your life. You don't even realize, you just start living. So, very important.
This is a major cornerstone in my life because I'm not a doctor, but I learned about dopamine.
But he knows how to operate. Trust me, he knows how to operate.
He knows. I need a new marketing guy. Rick Macci's my man. But I call it God's doggy biscuit. But dopamine, oxytocin, serotonin, endorphins, that creates joy. And giving is such an obvious way that if you're giving, right. Remember, in every text, philosophical, theoretical, religious, spiritual, it actually says the more you give, not the more you'll receive. It says the more you give, the more you're given. And when we give, the dose of happiness is given to us. When we receive, the dose of happiness is given. It's proven medically.
Absolutely.
And even more amazing, the most viral of all is this giving and receiving, because if you witness it 100 years later on TV or streaming, dopamine, oxytocin, serotonin, by witnessing, giving and receiving. And what's happening to the best people in the world is we're teaching them the more we give, the more we receive, but that's not true. What's happening to the best people, like my mom, is they give their whole life away. So let's say you have 100 when you start, and you give away all your 100 like my mom did to her children, her community, to women's liberation, all the things that she did. And then she felt guilty because she gave 100, all of a sudden she was given 101, but she felt too guilty, not worthy. And so she took in 99. And then she had 99 again, and she was afraid to ask for more. So then she gave away her 99, and the next time around she only took 98. So yeah, it took till she was 80 until she gave everything away. It's a zero-sum game, not just economically, not just mathematically, but actually bioanatomically and biochemically. You're giving away a little bit of your joy every single time. And so when you realize giving, receiving, and witnessing all together create this gift of value add, so that go ahead, give your 100 away, and when you're given 101, take it all. and then ask for more and have 102, and then give 102 away and end up with 104. So when you're 80 years old, like Rick almost is, you'll have millions to give to all the kids around, not just of money, but of ideas, inspiration, all the gifts that were given because we've given. And you also receive the dose of happiness and give it away, and others that witness it will do the same. So that's the core of my whole mathematical equation of life.
I love it.
Before I chime in on that, you know this is David's 81st birthday that we're celebrating,
Oh my
right?
God.
So
And I look good.
Listen,
At 81.
defense, okay, part of playing tennis, offense and defense. No, to take it further, when you mention joy, and this has something to do with not just tennis, but all sports, and David being with Warren Moon and being an agent and connected to the NFL. One of the things, and a lot of the kids are here, I tell them to do, and it's probably been the most received video I ever did. The best way to improve your game is right before you hit every shot, smile. Okay, it has a profound effect on the nervous system. It calms you down. And if I've said that to hundreds of thousands of people, they've said the same thing. Okay, I'm more relaxed. But that's what I call flipping it. You had to flip it in your mind. Some people say, well, how can I smile? It's a big point. These guys that perform in the Super Bowl, they don't think it's a Super Bowl. They're just out there in the backyard and they're going to have fun. And the guys that make it bigger than what it is, that's when you get into the Federer, Nadal, the Djokovic, the Serena, how you handle pressure. So even though that's off of what you said, when you brought up joy, and some of you guys play tennis, you get the overhead, you've hit all these shots, it's a moment of truth, and you're at the net, and you miss it because the table's set, and now it's time to eat, and then you choke. If you smile, I guarantee your game will go an extra mile. So I wanted to expand upon that.
Yeah.
Huh? No, he's a Broadway performer, 20 years old. Someone asked me today what happened. He's 20 years old. Djokovic didn't have any slams at 20, so it's not where you start, it's where you finish. He's a Spanish magician. No, and that's how you handle pressure. And that's what I loved about Roddick, the 12-year-old mosquito that I had when he was #1 in the country. Anybody, anytime, anywhere. This guy's a mosquito, bothering me all the time. Can I play him again? Can I play him again? Okay, I love that attitude. He just loved the battle, and his thirst for competition was like no other. And I'm just telling you, that's the wild card at the top. If you can train yourself to focus on that, not the money, not the crowd, not ranked higher, lower, whatever. And that's what I saw in the Williams sister, that rage for competition, but smiling as a leader in the clubhouse. Try it when the world's falling down on you, smile, it changes the whole landscape.
Yeah, it's a pleasure to be here, guys. Thanks again. You guys are awesome. I have a question about the first time in the morning. I would like if you can, all of you, ask us. First thing in the morning, you guys usually do to prime your mind for the whole day. Like he already said, part of it. Like, okay, if this happened, if the guy, close me off, or if the girl hits the ball and hits me, or I don't know, you fall everything from your desk. How you guys prepare yourself in the morning to deal with that? Like I do construction, so I deal with many people. I gotta speak all 3 languages. The drill. So how can I prime my mind up? Like how you guys do it so we can go through
all of us are gonna go. Yeah, sure.
Okay, well, the first thing you got to do, you have to have structure, and you got to be in a routine. If you're all over the map, okay, you're going to get lost, okay? I mean, you don't have to become a robot, but when you get into a routine, okay, you become a machine. And then you just keep building blocks. You just keep putting blocks on top of that. I've got up at 2 o'clock. I know it's crazy. Okay, what time I go to bed? 7. Okay, I knew that was coming next. Okay, every day I get up at 2. Okay, same thing. Run a half mile. Bang. I open up the park 7 days a week. 5 o'clock. At 69 years old, I'm a park ranger. I should put that on my resume. But listen, I love it. But I stay in that routine, and you just keep shining and make it better. But if you're all over the map, and it's a little tougher for Dave because he travels, he's in Dubai, Atlanta, he's here and there and everywhere. It's a little tougher, but routine and structure is the main thing. And the next thing is, you always want to try to treat everybody the same way. My best friend, is the maintenance man. It's Dave, it's Niva, it's all you guys. You know, that's my greatest student, is like whoever I'm with right then and there. But that is mind control. That takes discipline. And if you can get into that mindset, it changes everything. Because maybe a lot of other people had better opportunity than myself, quarters at Wimbledon or whatever. Every day you got to try to get better. As I tell David, if you're not getting better, you're getting worse, okay? And that's the way you got to look at it. You know, when I do all these podcasts, people say, why do you do this? And I say, because I want to. You know, I got to get better. And once you start like Djokovic said it best, 24 slams, 98 singles titles, okay, 407 weeks, okay, number one, 13 different seasons, 83% winning percentage. They go, now what? Now what? He goes, I got to get a lot better. Now, he not only felt that in his heart, that was a message shot across the bow for everybody listening, like, whoa. Now, when he retires, I'm sure we're going to hear a lot of the secret sauce of what that guy does, meditation, visualization. This guy's on a whole different planet, because you don't go there and dominate at that age like he has. It's something like we've never seen, but that's kind of what's worked for me, and some of those nuggets might help you.
Do you want to go? Or? I can. Oh, thank you. So I love that question because, first of all, like I've been working with Rick, and there's not a day, he is the $1 billion mind, because there's not a day he's not positive and happy. So whatever he's telling you really works. So the structure and what he does. But I think for me, it's really controlling my thoughts. And so number one is gratitude. Gratitude, just so grateful of everything I have. It could be even the sheets on your bed. Grateful for the sunrise. Grateful for being able to breathe. That's what some of my patients say. You know, I'm grateful that I can breathe. Very grateful for the day. Once you fill your heart with gratitude, there's very little else to complain about. So that's the first thing that I love to wake up and train my mind to do that every day. The second thing is you can do a combination of either meditation or journaling. But that meditation is really important because you just sit there and you can watch your thoughts. And if they're not real, you can get rid of them. You know, that's really what it's about. If it's a negative thought, it's not real, something about yourself, something unhappy, you can try to get rid of that and try to replace it with a positive thought. And the third thing that I like to do is that journal. I live off of that journal. I have things that cross off every day. I have to achieve something for the day. So I have some goals. How am I going to get to those goals? The journal is where those steps I take to get to the goals.
About the goals.
Yeah.
Usually you set up like once in a month, every
Absolutely.
week, once in a year. How usually?
Oh, that's a beautiful question. I have daily goals, weekly goals, and monthly goals. And so the daily goals are the small steps to take me to the weekly goals, which will take me to the monthly goals. And that's how you get, any project done. I'm sure we have major experts here, but I'm just telling you the day-to-day things and how to achieve your maximum capacity. So.
That's awesome, and there's no doubt why they're so successful. For me, I want to be in the Hall of Fame of sleep. I used to want to be in the Pro Football Hall of Fame because I figure everybody in the world sleeps about average 8 hours, 7 for Rick and I. Imagine if I could be the best at sleeping, what that would produce in my life, the differentiator would make. So my morning starts at 9 p.m., not 7, because I wake up at 4 a.m., not 2. And so I have a sleep coach, because I know I can't get to be the best without a coach, a mentor, and a teacher. And I do travel, so I want to make sure that people who know more about sleep are teaching me when to sleep, what to eat, how to sleep, where to sleep, what temperature to sleep at. So I have an unwinding routine at 9 p.m. every night, Pacific time. So while I'm here on the East Coast, it's 12 p.m. and I live in America on Eastern time at that time zone. So I unwind, so I've been trained to put my mind, body, soul in a position of recovery, which obviously helps me the next day, and a position of access, meaning being able to get the information, channel it down, and then when I wake up, what I do is meditate through my values, which number one value is gratitude. Fastest, easiest way to change your life is to say thank you in the morning and at night. Metaphysics, quantum physics, every thought leader in the world will tell you gratitude is the most powerful thing in the world. It's free. It takes 0.1 seconds. But the lesson I've learned about gratitude that's more powerful than what gratitude does for us, it's the simple things to do are unfortunately simple not to do.
Yeah.
And so I do that every night on my unwinding routine and every morning. And then I take my values of gratitude, forgiveness, accountability of my day, and inspiration, and I make a plan to practice it by saying my first prayer, may God put at least 10 people in front of me I can help, because I know the fastest way to get to where I want to be is to help other people get to where they want to be. Then I say, may God put 10 people in front of me that can help me. Second fastest way to get to where you want to be is find someone that's already there and ask them for directions. And so then I take that gratitude, forgiveness, accountability, and effective communication and say, okay, what do I want? Who can I help? Who can help me today? How best can I get it done with the 24 hours I'm given every single day? You're guaranteed 24 hours a day, except for the last day of your life. If you take that attitude and perspective that I am guaranteed every day of my life 24 hours, and I'm going to use it to be productive, accessible, and gracious with the 24 hours I'm given every day, except for the last day, I'm going to be cheated out of a few hours. That's it. And then I go ahead and I prioritize. We all talked about, you got to know what's important to you. Not kids especially, not what's important to what other people think. Right? You are happy, healthy, wealthy, and worthy. I don't care what they say. Let's figure out what we're doing to interfere with it. If you feel at dis-ease, then put yourself at ease, because you have an omniscient, all-powerful, infinite, abundant source that loves, protects you all times. You're interfering with it. You live in abundance. It's already done. And so I take those daily practices, know what, who, and how. I know what's important to me. One of the things I do, I study time. I not only study the activities I have planned, aligned with what I'm going to think, say, do, believe, where I want to be in the future or better, but I think one of the most important tricks I have is I study the blank space where I don't have things planned. Because what it does is it allows you to live life with a VIP parking place right in front of Costco at 10 a.m. on a Saturday. Your whole life, you know you have a VIP empty space, so when God laughs at you for coming up with this well-developed plan, which he will every single day, he will laugh at you. You say, no problem, God, because I know it's important to me. I'm just going to take what I thought was important to me. Now that you gave me a flat tire, now that you have my in-laws visiting me, now that interest rates rose to 8%, and I'm just going to move that to that parking place in front of Costco. I'm going to take care of this right now, but I'm still going to get this done. I'm just reprioritizing. Remember, prioritization is the antidote to feeling overwhelmed. Prioritization is the antidote to procrastination. Two of the biggest interferences in business and life. It's impossible to procrastinate or feel overwhelmed if you know what to do now and you know what to do next. And if you do that, you then can apply your why, not first search for something you've already been given. All you do is identify what you're afraid of, how you react to fear, and instead of trying to resist it, like Rick said, smile at it. You don't need to go over it, under it, through it, around it. You don't have to lie to it, cheat it, manipulate it. You don't have to deny it. Just stop and breathe. Remind yourself to what your faith is. Recollect your faith. Remember your faith. And roll back into the right direction. My mom taught me this. She didn't know it, but she told me when I was 3, David, if you ever catch on fire, you got to stop, drop, and roll. When your mind, body, and soul are on fire from the struggles you received, just stop, drop, roll back to where you want to be, not where everybody else wants you, not what you're missing, not what you don't have. I promise you, that routine, modify it to yourself, and I guarantee you'll be more productive, you'll provide more value, you'll be more accessible to receiving and accessible to others to give all that you've received, and more gracious, as Dr. Niv says here, right? Finding the light, the love, and the lessons in everything that happens in your life.
Can I just add something about
Well,
this?
one second. This guy's so successful. He's still on fire. This guy's still on fire. Well,
Even at 81.
Yeah. But wait, before one more, I just want to put a kind of a bow around that. You know, if everybody here can remember one thing, just remember this, and I'm going off the path a little bit. Just always, and so many things come at you every day because you got kids, there's all this stuff that's going to happen. Always take a deep breath and appreciate what you have. Just appreciate what you have instead of what you don't have. Okay, to me, that's the cornerstone of how I've always been wired. Okay, I'm fortunate, blessed, lucky, and I felt that way my whole life. And that keeps you grounded. You don't get too high or low. and you just keep building. And it's hard to do, okay? When it's raining and stormy and cloudy or whatever, take a negative, turn it into a positive. But you got to always say that. Write it down, and just, if you don't remember anything from today, which I hope you remember a lot more, just remember what I just said. To me, that's the goldest of gold nuggets that I could say anything.
Rick, you lived that. That's why this book was so easy to write, because he just appreciated everything. I think like my first draft was kind of shoddy, had so many spelling mistakes. He's like, this is awesome.
There's 100 free private lessons in this book, and it's a lot less expensive. All right,
Rick lives
but go ahead. I didn't
He's
mean to cut you off.
amazing, yeah.
Your serve.
So the funny thing is, when he said he was coming here, and Alex asked me, hey, are you coming or not? I said, I'll do it. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do, because I was doing some project in West Palm Beach. It's far away, 40 minutes. And then I said, I'm gonna do it. I don't know how, but I'm gonna be there. And then today I got there, I did what I had to do, and I had to do other stuff for this construction company. And the project manager said, go home. The designer didn't bring anything you need to do today. Go home, I'll be your day. Like,
see?
That's, you guys talk about manifestation,
Yeah.
prime your mind and everything. And today I woke up like, I'm gonna be there. Doesn't matter what happens, I'm gonna be there.
It's awesome.
So, thanks again, guys. Appreciate it.
We're grateful for you.
Thank you. The mindset, Serena and Venus, that I'm blessed to be with. Just call me King David. And, I have a 76-year plan for these two, and you guys are right on track.
Thank you.
But most
Wait,
important,
I got to add one thing. You ready? Everybody's going to be shocked about this. You ready for this? This is the first time I've ever met David in person. Even though we've done the podcast for 2 years, it's been virtual. And if tonight went bad, it might be another 2 years before we do something in person. No, but this is such a treat and a pleasure. He's such an amazing person to give and share. Hopefully you guys are taking notes, because this is a game changer being around this guy.
thank you.
Yeah.
Bill Norris, I've taken all this in.
ATP trainer, 40 years, best friends, everybody, 60, 70, 80, Federer, Nadal, Djokovic, Rosewell, Borg, Connors, Nasasi.
Wow.
He's taped them all, so he knows all their secrets if you want to know anything under the hood. Bill Norris.
I've really enjoyed this thing, because the take home really sparks a lot of different ideas that everyone can take from this. And I'm learning as I go along. Every day I learn from my patients. I'm still seeing patients here in Mission Bay. But the thing is that when you come over here with Rick and his staff, Tanista and you, even we've had the most rain in the last month, 2 months. And there's an aura around this man and Tanista and all of his coaches. So if you're having a bad day, you come over here and get a good fix, and leave from there, and you feel so much better. But that's the great thing.
So what he's saying, when it's raining, we're still training. That's what he's really saying. So get your butt out there, work.
Exactly. But,
He's a boat.
these are life
His
lessons
best of
that,
all time.
You're giving these kids and the adults as well. So I just think it's a wonderful thing that's going on. I love this forum. I think it's making people think about how they can apply it to their everyday life. I just think it's really a positive thing.
Thanks, Bill.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, this.
Really, sometimes we have the pleasure to have some sessions with you, David. Consider myself lucky for that. I have a question about something that you said. You said about learning to like something. I think that words are simple, but it seems like a very complicated and complex process. And I was wondering if you could share your wisdom a little bit about the process of getting to this point.
Yeah, so whenever we want to get better at something, because if we're not getting better, we're getting worse, it's simple, practice. So remember, I'm utilizing time to determine the progress that I'm making. So if I'm spending my time in the right direction of learning to love to take the trash out, and looking for the light, the love, and the lessons in taking the trash out. I was able to do this. I always had to take the trash out for some reason. 6 kids, it sucked. Smallest one in my fraternity, it's really sucked. Had 3 daughters, still sucked. I was a trash man and I hated the trash. But the minute I practiced saying, how can I love the trash? I started asking myself every day, for the sake of what am I taking out this trash? And when I started saying that, I said, wow, my wife, she equates me taking the trash out to I respect, love, and appreciate her. I can have a little bit of time when I take the trash out that nobody's harassing me. What if I use the 5 minutes to say, I'm going to use my time taking the trash out instead of spilling it all over myself, to take my time because I'm going to think about what I want. That makes me happy. All of a sudden, through practice, by finding the light, the love, and the lessons, and what I hated to do almost my whole life, I now literally walk around telling, oh, I'll take that out for you. I've changed my perspective and my energy. And what's funny is when you shift your energy, right, that trash was kryptonite to my daughters. All of a sudden, when I shifted my energy to being, wow, I love taking this out, I'm asking, all of a sudden one of my daughters is like, I'll take that out for you, Dad. It is a matter of practice. If you want to get better at something, and you know if you're not getting better, you're getting worse, then practice it. That's the way the conscious continuum works. Cellular inputs to a subconscious mind, which has 40,000 of the same thoughts, most of them negative and repetitive. And so what Dr. Niva teaches is change the thoughts in your subconscious mind to program your quantum being, your DNA, activate the real you, the potential you, your essence of happiness, and your whole life not only will change for you, but everyone, like our friend here, the aura. Why are you attracted to this guy? Because he carries the energy. It's not because he's brilliant and he rhymes everything. He is, but you love his energy. And I love his energy. I felt it through the screen, and now being with him, I'm going to come back here a lot more. We got to finish it up, so
yeah.
Nick's, he's my boss.
No, I know that. Nick's the best.
But I'm going to hang out a little bit. Everyone, let's make sure we get a book. We also want a group photo, is that right?
And then we want to take a picture of that.
Yeah, we'll go over there. Right. And please, everyone, I probably didn't bring enough books, but please take down my email address. And if you have friends, family, if you think anything that we said, email me. I will sign a copy of my book, send it to you, pay for the book and shipping. Just email me. Or if you need anything else, david@dmeltzer.com. I'm living my life of service because I know the more I give, the more I'm given. And I'm okay receiving it. So
besides your friends, tell your enemies. I mean, they can buy a book too. It doesn't matter. You know, that will really get them off balance.
Exactly. They'll become your friends. Anyway, I want to thank the incredible Dr. Niva, the incredible Rick Macci.
Thank
you, everybody. Let's go out on the court and take a picture of Rick Rue doing it.
We wanted to, the background.
Don't be shy. Unless you're wanted, we expect you to be over here.
Photo, come over this way.
Or we can get to.
Yeah, nice to meet you too. Thank you so much. Yeah, it's Dr. Niva and $1 Billion Mind. Two of them. D Niva, DOC.
Come on, let's go.
All right, everybody, let's do it.
TOR.
Go this way.
And IVA.
No, that's good. You see me right out here every day, right?
Let's do it. I'll grab it off after.
Yeah. Okay.
And also $1 Billion Mind. Both of those.
That's $1 billion. Oh,
yeah, yeah.
He's carrying.
Oh my God.
Oh, you did great. You did great.
I was just like getting all your energy. Thank you.
Mind hungry?
Wow.
Yeah, that's it.
Creativity.
So you guys already have you guys have books here? How can I get one?
Oh, Amazon.
You're in the middle of everything.
And they're here too. No, of course. Amazon will use them.
They're under Serena, Venus, Kenan, Blanche, new kid on the block.
Get these superstars in here with us.
Nice.
Come on in, don't be shy.
Let's go, you got.
Thank you for
Joe, you can come
hundreds
here.
of thousands of people going to see this.
You're running for Congress, you need to be seen with us.
Yeah.
Instead of the mailbox.
The little ones can go on one knee, okay?
Oh, that would be me too.
Because some of you haven't been all day, so get low.
Cool. We should connect.